Hi everyone, this is Nick, and today I'm going to be showing you how to clean and maintain the ECM Classika PID. So this is an E61 prosumer espresso machine, and there's some stuff that you can do to not only preserve the flavor of your coffee, but to ensure the longevity of your machine. So I'll be going over some of the cleaning products that I recommend for you to use to keep this machine in ship shape, and also how to maintain our steam wand. So let's take a closer look. Let's take a look at probably the first and most important thing that you can be doing with your machine, which is going to be backflushing. So I'll show you two ways that we can do this. First is something called water backflushing, where we're just going to use fresh water from the group to backflush. That's something we can do daily. And then the more intensive backflushing using a detergent. We've got some Ernex Cafisa here. But to backflush the group, you're going to need to use your backflush disc, and we'll pull some blank shots. So if you've seen my other segments, you'll know that ECM has hidden a backflush disc actually right here in the frame of the machine, or rather I have, and they've given you this nice little cutout where you can put it. That's where I like to keep my disc. So at the end of the day, especially if you're brewing 2 to 3 shots or more on your machine, it's good that you can just go right on ahead and take this disc, pop out the basket that you have in your portafilter. This one's kind of hot, so I'm just making it a little easier on myself. And you can install the disc for that water backflush. Now, one of the things is that we can actually use this opportunity to take a look at just how much coffee oil has built up on our basket and inside the portafilter. This will let us know if we need to do a little bit of intensive cleaning on these so that we can get those oils off and get our coffee tasting fresh. So we'll get that backflush disc installed. I'll leave my basket out because I'm going to want to give that a spray with some of our spray cleaner. But I also want to go and just take a look under the group and see, okay, how is my shower screen looking, and is there coffee built up around the gasket? If there is, you can go ahead and use this brush to get anything that's left over after we're done with our backflushing. So we'll go right on ahead and lock the portafilter in. And so you'll do this about 2 to 3 times. It's not something that you're going to need to just be standing in front of the machine forever. Just 2 or 3 good cycles. We want to do 10 seconds of running that pump and then flush, wait 5 seconds, and then go for another 10. If you're using the programmable backflush reminder on the Classika PID, which I'll demo in just a moment, you'll know that it takes 15 seconds of that brew lever being raised to count as 1 brew cycle that counts toward your backflush reminder. So if you only go for 10 seconds, you don't have to worry about tripping that. So we'll go on ahead and flip our switch. And do a purge, and I can actually see some loose grinds down there in the drip tray. So we are getting some loose coffee out that had otherwise been in there. We can tip the water out, take a look at our group again, and then go ahead and hit it with another water backflush. But this is a great way to help keep things nice and clean without having to use the detergent. So let's take a look at how we would use Cafisa to do a more intense cleaning. Now that I've covered water backflushing, let's take a look at actually using some detergent to do a more thorough job of backflushing and cleaning out that group and that valve. So you want to use something like Ernex Cafisa. It's fairly ubiquitous as a backflush detergent, cleaning machines all over the world. So all you need actually is 3 grams of this detergent. So in a little jar like this, you've got about 566 grams. So you've got quite a few cleanings in there. But with 3 grams, it's easy to use your scale, for instance, to just get an eyeball on how much you're going to need. I would say, though, if you don't have a scale, you probably are going to need like a, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon will do that for you. If it's heaping, you know. Try to show you what that looks like. So it's always handy to have a scale, I think. Just measure out backflush detergent, measure out espresso, measure your shots. It's really kind of an invaluable tool for espresso. Get that locked in, and then we'll go ahead and lock the portafilter into the group. So before I actually show you a backflush, though, I do want to talk about one of the programming features on the Classika PID, which is ECM's own backflush reminder. So our rule of thumb is that if you brew 2 to 3 drinks every day, that you should backflush with detergent once a week. But if you do look at ECM's manual, they give you a broader range of about 90 to 140 brew cycles before doing that backflush. Now, what you can do is actually enter the programming menu, so we'll press these two buttons and go down to CLN, and you can set a number of shots, and then after you've reached that number of shots or brew cycles, the machine will remind you that you need to backflush. So just to cover what that means, ECM does not count anything under a 15-second lift of that lever as a brew cycle. So you don't have to worry, say if you're doing the water backflushing process that we showed you, that you're going to be adding to that counter. But what happens is once you have reached that preset number of shots that you've programmed, you will be prompted to start cleaning. The cleaning has a minimum of 10 flushes that they want you to perform, and you do need to run the pump for 15 seconds to clear those and start counting down. But if you're not, you can simply go ahead and run the pump as usual with the backflush disc in there. We do recommend though that for the detergent, your flushes are 15 seconds so that if you ever do decide to use that backflush reminder, that you're already in a habit of doing a longer flush. So with that inserted in the machine, we can simply go ahead and lift the lever. And after 15 seconds, we'll do our initial flush. So we recommend you do 5 flushes with the detergent and then another 5 flushes with clean water. And after that, your machine should be cleaned, rinsed, and ready to brew again. You will notice that when you are flushing with detergent present, that some of the discharge will have that foam from the cleaner, and it may also have brown from the coffee oils that you're loosening up, and you may even see some bits of coffee grounds in there as well. That's completely normal. And here's what the display would look like if you trigger the Classika PID's backflushing reminder. So we have CLN on the screen here, and we've got the number 10 flashing as well. That lets us know that we are now being alerted to backflush the machine and that we have 10 cycles to perform before that alert clears. So I've got a Portafilter with some backflush detergent here, and what I'll do is I'll run the pump. So in order to actually count down from that 10, you do need to perform a 15-second flush cycle for that to go from 10 to 9 and so on. But that looks a little something like this. And as you can see, we now have the number 9 flashing alongside the clean alert. Once you've performed these 10 flushes, the backflush counter will reset to your programmed value. For the backflushing procedure, we recommend 5 15-second flushes with detergent and another 5 with clean water to make sure that you've flushed out the group completely. With backflushing out of the way, let's take a look at how we can actually clean our shower screen, our portafilter, or our baskets. So we have recommended in the past that you can actually create a solution with some Ernix Cafesa and hot water. Soaking your equipment in that will definitely take care of any built up coffee oils or stains that have collected on there. Now, something else you can do too, especially if you've, say, bought something with a nanotech coating and you want to preserve that, is to use some Ernix Cafe sprays. So this spray is basically designed to break down coffee oils that build up just about anywhere. So you can even use it in your grinder hopper, on the drip tray, and of course on some of our equipment here. So what I'll do is actually remove our portafilter, and I can see that on the inside here there is some coffee oil and residue that's built up, as well as on this basket. So what I'm going to do is just use some of our cafe sprays, give that a little spritz. We'll wait a minute or so, come back, and wipe that all off. Get that on the spouts too, and on both sides of our portafilter basket. And if you do want to check too under your group, if you see there's still any oils present, you can spray that as well. And now that about a minute has passed, let's go ahead and just wipe that out. Ooh, that's looking nice and shiny. And what we can do is just give that a quick rinse with some water. Give it another wipe just to polish. And that's how you would use the Ernex cafe sprays. Let's talk a bit now about how we would keep our steam wand clean after each frothing. So the best thing that you can really do on any espresso machine is to purge and wipe down your steam wand after every time that you froth milk. So really, the great thing about this machine is that we do have a cool touch no burn insulation on this wand. So the only part of it that's going to get really, really hot will be the tip here. So you'll have a less likelihood of the milk actually burning onto this surface. And if you're quick, simply with your towel, wipe down that wand after each frothing session and then open the valve to purge any of the milk out of there. But let's say though that you really want to take it to the next level. Once a week, when you're actually backflushing the machine, you can also use the steam wand to draw up some hot water to basically help break down any remaining milk residue that may have sat in there. So I'm going to switch the machine into steam mode and show you how to do that. Now that we're at steam temperature, here's what we're going to do. With some hot water in my pitcher here, all we're going to do is froth that water and then close the valve with our tip submerged. This should cause some of that to get pulled up into the wand, and then by leaving it in there for a minute, we can allow that water to basically help break down any of the milk solids. Do this 2 to 3 times while backflushing, so once a week, and you should be able to get a real thorough clean performed on your steam wand. And we'll wait a minute and then purge the wand. All right, so that's our minute there. We'll go ahead and purge. And you can see there's some of that water jetting out there, and we'll simply repeat this for 2 more times and we'll call it a day. Let's say that we really wanted to get a deeper clean. Well, that's where a specially formulated milk cleaning solution like Ernex Rinza comes into play. All we would do differently is actually make a cleaner using either the tablet or the liquid solution here, and then draw that into the steam wand instead. This is also something that you can use to break down stubborn milk solids that have collected on the exterior of the wand. So you could say make the solution and then soak the wand in that for some time to loosen those up to really scrub them off. But that's how you would really take your steam wand cleaning to the next level. For our last bit of maintenance, let's just take a look at the drip tray itself. So you've seen me pull it off a couple of times during this video, and I'll just cover that one last time. But the drip tray simply slides out from the front of the machine. You've got 2 tracks, one on each side, that hold it together. And now we do have on the opposite side basically little grooves that you'll want to just line up when you are removing it or putting it back on. So another thing to note is that the grate itself is oriented toward the back of the machine, so you have a little hole here for the E61 relief. So if you ever take this off for cleaning, just make sure that this is pointed closest to the machine in order to get this tube draining properly. Now, to slide it back on, simply put it on both of these arms here. And if you ever have, say, any extensive staining from coffee, something again like that cafe sprays from Ernex does a really good job of just cleaning that off, keeping it nice and shiny. But otherwise, that's how you'd maintain your drip tray. And that does it for the ECM Classika PID, a truly great value for a prosumer single boiler espresso machine. I'm Nick, and thank you so much for watching.